Store Communications, Channel 5 presents High School Wrestling. Tonight, the Group 1 South Jersey Championship, matching the Bulldogs of Glassboro and the Raiders of Paulsboro High School. Tonight's match brought to you by Robert Lewis Chevrolet of West Broad Street in Paulsboro. Hi again, everybody. Mike Linder along with Bob Schrack. We're here at Paulsboro for what should be a tremendous wrestling match, the South Jersey Championship in Group 1. A little different twist this year, Bob. This will not be the final wrestling for a championship here. These two teams vying for the chance to go to Roseville Park this Saturday and look for a state championship in Group 1. And we couldn't ask for two better teams than Glassboro and Paulsboro coming together. They've met two times before for the Group 1 South Jersey Championship. This is the third time. Paulsboro's won twice. What do you think for tonight?
Paulsboro's won handily twice, Mike, and actually made it look easy the first 2 years. A lot of people, a lot of experts think it's going to be a lot closer this year. And as some of the prognosticators look up and down the lineup, John Vogening, for example, from the Courier Post, seeing Glassboro winning as many as 6 matches, possibly a split right down the middle, 6 matches each. If that's the case, it's going to come down to who gets the majors, the superiors, and the pins, who could prove to be the winner in this match. We've talked about it before on Channel 5 this year. Paulsboro with a trouble spot at the heavyweight class. No question about that. They've had difficulty there all year long. If it comes down to the heavyweight division, Paulsboro could be in trouble. A lot of people think they have to have it won by the 88-pound weight class. We've got 4 unbeatens on both teams in this match tonight, Mike. Just a dream match from many standpoints. A possibility of 2 of the unbeatens, Bill Chiappi of Glassboro and Jimmy Gentile of Paulsboro, meeting head-on at 170 in a match that could, in fact, be the pivotal match of the whole evening. Just a lot of great wrestlers up and down all the weight divisions, and we could have the classic wrestling match on Channel 5.
All right, Glassboro's 15-2, Paulsboro 15-1. And we'll be back right after these words to find out who comes out on top tonight.
South Jersey Group 1 Sectional Final, featuring the Bulldogs of Glassboro.
This is it, looking for the championship in Group 1 in South Jersey. Right now we're getting ready for the introduction of the starting lineups. For that, we'll go to Pete Pandolfo.
Glassboro earned its way into the finals with a 46-6 victory over Lacey Township, while Paulsboro earned their way into the finals with a 48-8 victory over Manchester Township. Here are your participants for tonight's match. At 101 pounds for Glassboro, a sophomore, Brian Sambuca. For Paulsboro, a junior, Eric Love. £108 for Glassboro, a junior, Rob Sottile. For Paulsboro, a sophomore, Bob Brown. £115 for Glassboro, a senior, Bob Bruno. A sophomore, George Zane. For Paulsboro, a junior, Ray Williams. £122 for Glassboro, a junior, Rich Mitcho. A sophomore, Joe Rennick. For Paulsboro, a sophomore, Sam Thorpe. £129 for Glassboro, a senior, Brian Barratt. For Paulsboro, a senior, Mark Love. £135 for Glassboro, a freshman, Tom Villec. A sophomore, Milton Ferrer. For Paulsboro, a senior, Anthony Lombardo. Who's going at 41? £141 for Glassboro, a freshman, Tom Villec. For Paulsboro, a senior, Fred Sudter. £148 for Glassboro, a senior, Pete Talbert. For Paulsboro, a senior, Tony Gentile. 158 pounds for Glassboro, a senior, Chris Dillia. And a senior, Rob Tierno. For Paulsboro, a junior, George Fiorelli. 170 pounds for Glassboro, a senior, Bill Chiappi. For Paulsboro, a senior, Jim Gentile. 188 pounds for Glassboro, a freshman, Bill Stewart. For Paulsboro, a senior, Bill Widner. And at heavyweight, for Glassboro, a sophomore, Bruce Carr. For Paulsboro, a junior, Andy Kniestow. We please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Just about ready to go now in this big match for the South Jersey Group 1 Championship and a chance to go to Roselle Park. And Bob, I guess we should announce that in all probability, Channel 5 also will be going to Roselle Park this Saturday for the Group 1 Championships.
And that will be if either Paulsboro or Glassboro wins tonight. Doesn't matter which. We look at Albert Sy in the background. His captain's getting ready to come out to the mat to meet with the Paulsboro captains.
And what a job Al Sy has done at Glassboro, huh? He's in his third year now, and Sy talking to Roy Fenimore. They bring out the best, don't they, for the championships. Fenimore, of course, noted as #1 in South Jersey officiating, and now two great coaches, Sy and Bob Frederick, talking with one another before this match. Frederick, of course, almost a legend in his own time already. He's got such a fabulous record coming into tonight's match, 197 wins against 5 losses and 1 defeat. Al Sy, in his third season, has just clinched his second Olympic conference, the first 2 Olympic conference championships in wrestling Glassboro's ever enjoyed. They brought Sy in from Pittman High School, where he had a successful couple of years, and then he's done just a great job building it there. Frederick sits down and appears calm for this part of the evening. He's been here before many times, of course, and both these coaches going against each other over the last 3 seasons. Paulsboro winning the first 2, last year being victorious 34-11 over Glassboro. The Bulldogs looking for a little different outcome tonight. Fenimore with a lot of wrestlers out there as far as the captaincies go, huh?
Paulsboro apparently losing the toss. 4 captains from each team. We're just about ready to get going. Very interesting Glassboro season. They started slowly, much like the football team, Mike. I really kind of compare what's happened with the Glassboro wrestling team to its football team, which started slowly, then when it came on to win the Group 1 championship, the wrestling team started slowly. The 2 losses early in the season, they have rallied all the way to become one of the top teams in South Jersey. Paulsboro 15-1, that lone loss ending Paulsboro's 96-match losing streak. That loss 29-23 to Cherry Hill East about 3 weeks ago.
And Glassboro's losses, of course, coming at the hands of Lenape and Highland. You mentioned all those teams. They're all top 10 in South Jersey. 101 pounds now, the 98-pound weight class, of course, and you add the 3 pounds for the allowance as the season progresses. We'll go with Brian Sambuca against Eric Love. Taking a look at Love now, a junior, 17-0-1 on the season. His opponent, Brian Sambuca, sophomore, 13-2. First wrestling of the night, Bob.
Sambuca and Eric Love. Love undefeated. Sambuca, sophomore for Glassboro, has only lost twice. Single leg by Love. And they go back to the middle. This is one of those matches that Paulsboro feels it has to win. Love, the undefeated wrestler. They cannot afford to allow Sambuca to pull an upset here. Could be very damaging to the Paulsboro chances, but Sambuca very capable.
Interestingly, Love coming in undefeated, of course. Many people would say, hey, he's going to do it. No problem. He hasn't lost all year. But you take a look at the young sophomore's record, 13-2, and that's a great matchup.
Single leg by Sambuca, but they're off the wrestling surface, and the Glassboro fans already booing Roy Fenimore.
Fenimore won't hear. Fenimore knows exactly what he's doing. There'll be no problem with the officiating tonight. You can bet on that.
1:20 to go in the first period. 101-pound action, first match of the night. Sambuca avoiding the takedown very nicely. No scoring yet between Love on the left and Brian Sambuca.
Bob, we saw Glassboro early in the year against Gateway. They won easily that day, but Al Sai was rather quiet. Stayed on the bench most of the day. He's already been up most of the way in this match.
Well, I talked to both wrestlers before the match, and Albert was a little bit tense before the match tonight. 56 seconds to go, first period, still no scoring. Double leg by Love, a very quick move. He gets a takedown and leads 2-0. First 2 points of the night.
A super move by Love, but it did not appear that Sambuca was ready for it. As if he was taken by surprise. The Paulsboro fans coming alive now.
Love's got the half in. He's trying to turn Sambuca, looking for an early pin. 35 seconds to go in the period. Huge crowd at Paulsboro High School. Temporary bleachers brought in to take care of some of the overflow crowd, and they're expecting an exciting match. 20 seconds to go in the first. Love on top, leading 2-0.
Glassboro's gone 12 straight since that 2-point loss to Highland early in the season, and Sambuca has been one of the major reasons for it, and he's in trouble now. He's going to get out of this period.
Love trying to stack Sambuca. 5 seconds to go in the period. End of one. Eric Love, the junior from Paulsboro, leading sophomore Brian Sambuca. Glassboro 2-0. The fans enjoying this first match.
We've been to a lot of matches this year, of course, and while wrestling brings out the fans pretty well, it certainly doesn't have them as noisy as we've heard them tonight. And it's really got to make a difference in the performance of these wrestlers. They have to hear it. It's got to really get the adrenaline flowing.
This for the bragging rights of Gloucester County, and also a berth to the State Group 1 Finals in Roselle Park this week. Sambuca trying to reverse Love. Love still with control, but there's the escape by Sambuca to make it 2-1. The sophomore doing a nice job. "12 matches, but they're all key ones tonight, and this one really setting the pace because, again, it's one Paulsboro feels it must win.
Eric Love, of course, the brother of Mark Love, who we'll see later. The Mark, of course, undefeated coming in, so quite a record from that family.
Love with another takedown to lead 4-1. Love's quickness the difference so far. Again, he throws the half in, trying to turn Sambuca. Thinking cradle. Sambuca countering that. 1:05 to wrestle in the second. A 4-1 Love lead.
Riding time now for Love, Bob, at 1:36 and counting. We have a stall warning
against Sambuca. Again, Love trying to come up with the cradle combination. Love with a 4-1 lead on a couple of takedowns, one in each period. "25 seconds to go in the second period. Paulsboro fans hollering at Fenimore that Sambuca isn't doing anything underneath. 10 seconds. Potentially dangerous hold called by Roy Fenimore with 10 seconds to go in the period. Wrestling match a lot of people have been waiting for all winter long in Gloucester County. Sambuca trying for a late period escape or reversal, but Love with 5 seconds to go will just try to ride him out here. That does it for 2. Eric Love of Paulsboro leading Brian Sambuca 4-1, and Love will be in the spot he wants to be to start the third period, which is on the bottom.
Remember, 2:28 now, riding time advantage to Eric Love.
Of course, every point important in a match like this, they're going to be looking for the majors and the superiors. They're not going to be satisfied with 3-point decisions because an extra point can make a big difference in the team scoring. So Love, although right now he is looking at a 3-point decision win, certainly thinking more.
Both these wrestlers getting wins last night. Glassboro, Sambuca in the victory over Lacey Township, and Love in Paulsboro's win over Manchester Township. One of them going to lose tonight, probably.
Reversal for Love makes it 6-1. Undefeated Eric Love with a 6-1 advantage and lots of riding time. He'd love to get the Raiders started with a pin. He cradles Sambuca, but they go off the wrestling surface. 1:25 to go, 6-1 lead, Love. And he's already almost guaranteed, yes he is guaranteed another point for the riding time. Sambuca showing great concentration. He tries to escape the grasp of Love. Sambuca has avoided having any back points assessed against him so far in this match, although Love has had him in several potentially serious situations. Paulsboro fans still want the stall against Sambuca. They don't think he's making enough of an effort. And there's the point. 7-1 now with a minute to go. And again, Love trying to get the half in and turn Sambuca. He's got him on his back. But Sambuca still control for Love. Sambuca trying to reverse.
Gonna have to hurry. 42 seconds left in the bout.
Sambuca reverses. That counters the back points by Love, and the score is 9-3. "25 seconds to go. 20 seconds to go. Love now in a situation where he probably is not going to get the major win unless he can reverse Sambuca, and that would be one less point for the team total. 14 seconds to go. Love apparently safely ahead 9-3.
Well, make it 10-3 with the riding time.
But he needs 8 for the major decision. So he needs another point, and if he can escape a reverse in the last 14 seconds, he can get that.
Then the whole coaching staff from Paulsboro was up waving that one finger at him, telling him one more point.
And he makes a great move. He gets a reversal. 11-3, 9 seconds to go in the period. What a move by Love. His quickness the difference easily in this match. 3 seconds to go. Love will hang on for the victory. He wins 12-3 with riding time. A 4-0 lead for Paulsboro as Eric Love stays undefeated.
Well, we've answered question number 1. Eric Love comes away with the victory. Sambuca will have to wait another year to get one in the Group 1 championships. Paulsboro out to the 4-0 lead. Not only get the victory, but get the one additional point. And they'll be looking for those additional points in every bout. 108 pounds now, 105-pound weight class. Rob Sottile on the right from Glassboro. Now we see Sottile against Bob Brown. Sottile, a junior, 19-0. Bob Brown, just a sophomore, 15-2. And for the second time in 2 bouts, we've got a great one.
And now this is a situation where Glassboro feels it must win this match. Sottile undefeated, Brown having an excellent season. Single leg by Sottile. Brown trying to counter it. No control. 108-pound action. Paulsboro with a 4-0 team lead on the major win by Eric Love. Key matchup here, Sottile and Brown, two good ones. Good effort by Brown. Sottile had made the initial move, getting the single leg, but Brown countered it and got off the surface before being taken down.
Sottile with 40 wins, Bob, over the last two seasons. 21-5 last year, 19-0 this year. And another year to go. He's been a good one at Glassboro.
Both these wrestlers won easy decisions in the semifinal victories last night. Sottile winning 9-1, Brown 16-2 as their teams easily defeated their opponents each by 40 points. Double leg by Sottile looking for the takedown. Brown desperately trying to fight off Sottile. Still no control. 35 seconds to go in the period.
We had a junior and a sophomore going against each other at 101. We've got a junior and a sophomore at 108, but it's reversed. The youngster was from Glassboro in the last bout. The younger of the two wrestlers out there now from Paulsboro, and you have to wonder what that 1 year of experience does in a situation like this.
Brown so far has been able to counter two moves by Sottile. 12 seconds to go in the period. Very evenly matched wrestlers. Stalemate called by Roy Fenimore, and the fans on both sides of the gym appreciating the effort of Sottile, the junior from Glassboro. Brown, the sophomore from Paulsboro. Albert Sy, the great head coach at Glassboro High School. 5 seconds to go in the period. No scoring. And we have an even matchup here at 108. No scoring. Sottile and Brown. We go to period number 2. Brown has the bottom to start the second. Sottile undefeated on the year. One of 8 wrestlers in action tonight, 4 in each team with unblemished records.
Glassboro would have loved to have had the first one. They didn't get that one, but they're certainly planning, I'm sure, in their little booklet, Bob, to get this one and the next one, going with their two undefeated wrestlers, Sottile and Bruno, in a row here at 108 and 115. Both of them holding 19-0 records, and I'm sure Sy has this one written down as a definite, at least an absolute must for his team. He must see this as a very close match.
Very tough ride by Sottile so far in the second period. He has ridden Brown for the first 50 seconds. Still no scoring. Brown knows that he has to get some points in this period because Sottile will have the bottom to start the third. Sottile with superior experience. 55 seconds to go. Sottile with an excellent ride.
Advantage time 1:15 and counting for Sottile.
35 seconds to go in the period. Brown knows he needs points before the end of this period.
Crowd likes this one, don't they?
20 seconds to go. Brown desperately trying to get free. On his feet finally. 15 seconds to go. And Sottile returns Brown to the mat. Excellent effort by both wrestlers. Sottile with a very physical ride the entire second period. 2 seconds. That'll do it. Still no scoring after 2. Sottile and Brown. What an effort by Rob Sottile. Now, if Bob Brown can return the favor and ride Sottile throughout the third period, we will have a tie.
That 2-minute riding time could be much more important than many people are thinking about right now, perhaps.
Sottile trying to sit out Brown with the ride to start the third. Sottile with his arm wrapped around Brown's leg, trying to take advantage of it. 1:35 to go. Brown eating into Sottille's riding time. No scoring yet. Third period. Brown trying to ride Sottile out. What an even matchup at 108. Two great young wrestlers.
And right now, as
a cradle by Brown. He had Sottile in momentary trouble. The fans calling too. They thought that Brown had a couple of back points, and it is 2-0 on the back points for Brown. With seconds to go, Brown continuing his ride. This could be a major upset.
And the riding time advantage is wiped out.
Sottile desperate. He must reverse. And a stall warning. Stalemate called by Fenimore. 37 seconds to go in the match. Brown still on top, leading 2-0, trying to hand Rob Sottile his first loss of the season. Critical match for Glassboro. They feel they must get a win out of Sottile. Sottile trying to sit out. Brown continuing his ride. Gutty performance by both wrestlers.
And Sottile, of course, not only recognized the importance of this bout to the match, is about to see his undefeated record go down the drain. Doubly important for Rob Sottile.
20 seconds to go. Paulsboro fans really excited about the effort by Bob Brown.
Bob Brown representing the Paulsboro tradition right here, isn't he, Bob?
10 seconds to go. Brown leading 2-0. Sottile running out of time. Now, the escape by Sottile. He needs a takedown. 2 seconds, 1. Brown trying to battle him off. Brown does. Bob Brown, the upset winner, 2-1. A big win for Paulsboro. They lead 7-0. We'll be back.
More wrestling after this. Two bouts completed. 7-0, Paulsboro on top. We're at 115. Rick Maden, the freshman, is going to go against Bob Bruno from Glassboro. Paulsboro pulling a surprise here. Instead of going with Ray Williams, the junior has had 12 varsity bouts. Bob, they're going with the freshman, Rick Maden. And of course, the scoreboard having a lot to do with that decision.
That's right. Both coaches showing several possibilities in a number of weight classes tonight. Maden with a huge challenge.
I think Albert Sy gave Bruno the word. We need 6, didn't he?
He needs points, that's for sure. 6 would help tremendously, but Glassboro must get a win. They expected a win from Sottile. He had his undefeated streak snapped by Brown in a great match, 2-1. The Paulsboro fans happy with the effort of Rick Maden, the freshman, so far. 1:22 go in the first, no scoring.
Oops.
Minute 10 to go in the first. Quick move by Bruno. He moves in with the thing single leg, but Maden gets out of trouble. Oh, these Paulsboro fans electrified so far tonight.
Rick Maden, of course, been wrestling both freshman and JV. He was 2 and 3 earlier a couple of weeks ago when we started checking out the records for this team as a freshman. He was 5 and 1 as a junior varsity member then.
Bruno with the takedown, has Maden on his back. Maden gets out of trouble, but not before 2 back points make it 4-0 for Bob Bruno. Now Bruno in control. He's thinking pin. He wants 6 for the Bulldogs. .30 seconds to go in the first. Cradle by Bruno, trying for a pinning combination. Maden very active.
You can see the confidence on Bob Bruno right now.
.21 seconds to go in the first.
What a situation for a freshman. Group 1, South Jersey Championship. Going against one of the best around, the undefeated Bruno. He's held his own this period.
Maden trying to sit out. Bruno continuing his ride. 10 seconds to go in the period. Bob Bruno, one of the 4 undefeated wrestlers on the Glassboro team. Bruno winning in a 3:19 pin in the semifinals. Maden did not wrestle against Manchester Township. Three seconds to go. End of 1. Bob Bruno, Glassboro leading Rick Maden 4-0.
And the first points that the Glassboro wrestlers have earned in the first period. It's 2-0. Eric Love over Sambuca after 1. 0-0 Sottile and Brown after 1.
Coach Bob Frederick would not put the freshman Maden in this situation if he didn't think he was a capable wrestler. And Maden, of course, will try to avoid the pin by Bruno. What they don't want to do is give up 6 points here, and of course that's exactly what Glassboro wants. Glassboro did not expect Mike to lose both of the first 2 matches. I'm sure they envisioned a split.
Well, they had to be thinking Sottile has to win. Here's somebody has not let them down all year long. 19-0 coming in. That one had to be a definite, and they were probably hoping that they'd escape with some points out of the Sambuca Love bout at 101. Wound up with neither.
Bruno with the lead 4-0. He's trying to break down Rick Maden. He knows he's a freshman, knows that he has little varsity experience, and he'll try to take his time and set him up with a combination to pin him. Great excitement so far. Eric Love winning a major for Paulsboro at 101, and Bob Brown with a big upset of Sottile at 108. Now Bruno trying to put the first Glassboro points on the board. 1:20 in the second. Bruno looking for the cradle, now the stack. Bruno trying a little bit of everything. Maden again squirms out of trouble.
Quickly gets a hold of that leg to counter that stack move.
Maden with a fine effort.
We talked about Bob Brown, the sophomore representing the Paulsboro tradition at the conclusion of his bout, coming up with that super effort to pick up the 2-1 victory there. Well, Rick Maden, a freshman, this is a name you're going to hear around Paulsboro for a number of years. They keep coming right on through the midget program. Everybody in this community, Bob, it seems, is participating in wrestling in one form or another, either supplying them as family members or participating as a coach.
Bruno gets a half in, puts Maden on his back. Maden bridging, trying to keep out of the pin. Bruno trying to put Maden away. Boy, Glassboro could use 6 here. He got it! Bruno gives him 6. He pins Maden with 36 seconds to go in the second period, and that quickly Glassboro within a point at 7-6.
Well, suppose now that they had gotten the victory out of Sottile, Glassboro would be ecstatic. Instead, they're simply happy right now. 7-6, 1 point down. We go to 122-pound action. It's 119-pound weight class. Joe Reinick or Rich Mitcho scheduled to go.
£122 action. We're trying to determine who for Glassboro's wrestling. They had several possibilities in it, several weight classes. Sam Thorpe definitely out there for Paulsboro. He's the sophomore.
And Mitcho, Rich Mitcho, the junior, going for Glassboro. We take a look at Rich now, and what a tremendous tradition this has been. The Mitcho brothers of Glassboro contributing so heavily over the last 3 years to the wrestling program there. 2 of them now move on, of course, to the college levels.
Mitcho did not wrestle in the semifinal win. He's had a good season for Glassboro. 11 wins against 5 losses. Thorpe also having a good season. This is one on paper Paulsboro feels it can win. Of course, these coaches spend a lot of time looking up and down the weight classes to see who should win at whatever weight. Single leg by Thorpe.
This Rich Mitcho's, well, we've got some action.
Takedown by Thorpe. Gets the half in, trying to turn Mitcho. First 2 points to Thorpe at 122. On the scoreboard, 7 for Paulsboro, 6 for Glassboro. A big 6 by undefeated Bob Bruno on the pin of freshman Rick Maden. Everybody anticipated a win by Bruno there, but you don't necessarily concede 6, so big effort by Bob Bruno. Mitcho on the bottom, 1:05 to go in the first.
Rich wrestling last year was 11-8. Expected to contribute greatly to this year's team. Been moving between 129 and 122.
The escape by Mitcho makes it 2-1. Thorpe still in the lead. .35 seconds to go in the first.
30 seconds.
Single leg tried by Thorpe. It doesn't take. 20 seconds to go in the first.
Rich Mitcho, the brother of Nick Mitcho, was third in the States last year.
Five seconds to go. End of one, 2-1 lead. Sam Thorpe, the Paulsboro sophomore, in front of Rich Mitcho. Sam Thorpe, outstanding freshman season a year ago, other than a few losses to Gateway state champion Greg Rizzo.
And had some trouble with the Rizzo family again this year.
That's right, Mike has had some success against Sam, but Sam Thorpe, one of the fine sophomores in South Jersey. Thorpe on the bottom to start the second. Quickly on his feet, trying to sit out. Mitcho.
The Paulsboro fans really get on Fenimore, don't they? They want to see wrestling. They keep screaming that the Glassboro wrestlers are stalling.
Fenimore, an outstanding official. 8 seconds into the second period. Sam trying to switch. Mitcho still with control.
Oh.
Thorpe gets free, and it's 3-1 on the escape. Thorpe needs a takedown. He does not want to go into the last period with a 2-point lead or less with Mitcho on the bottom.
2-second difference in riding time. Mitcho, a 2-second advantage, so that's not a factor here.
Single leg by Sam, trying to get another takedown. Mitcho does a nice job of getting out of it. .105 to go in the second period. 122-pound action. Paulsboro with 2 wins so far. Glassboro with only 1, but the scoreboard showing only a 1-point differential. Paulsboro 7, Glassboro 6. On a tight match like this, those pins can loom very, very big. Single leg, double leg by Thorpe.
In fact, you recall in the Cherry Hill East match, in that loss, that was the first time in years Paulsboro, in fact, did not get a pin. I'll tell you how important they are.
Paulsboro not known this year as a pinning team, and of course down through the years they have been, but they're going to need a pin or two tonight.
And that loss, of course, by 6 points, 29-23 to Cherry Hill East. Well, you notice Cherry Hill East was beaten last night by Lenape in the Group 4s.
Thorpe with a big takedown with 26 seconds to go in the period. He leads 5-1. He needed that one.
We bring that one up because you know who the coach is at Lenape.
Sam Evangelista.
And that has some meaning down here in this town.
Former Paulsboro head coach.
The big upset, Lenape ranked number 7 in South Jersey, and Cherry Hill East were number 1 until last night. Highland, the number 2 team, picking up a victory over Pemberton, the number 3 club in the Group 4 semi. Highland and Lenape going tonight. And of course, Paulsboro coming into this match with Glassboro as the number 4 team, Glassboro as the number 8. Been a lot of movement in the top 10 rankings in South Jersey this season. Everybody knocking each other off.
2 minutes to wrestle. Thorpe on top, leading 5-1. Mitcho needs to escape a reverse in a hurry. And he gets the escape. It's 5-2. Thorpe in the lead. Thorpe would like more than a 3-point decision too, but of course, first things first, he has to win. Thorpe again maneuvering in for the double leg and converts it into a takedown. He's done that 3 times, and it's 7-2 for Sam Thorpe. Eight matches to go after this one. Escape again for Mitcho, and the score now reduced to 7-3. Thorpe again with a single leg. Mitcho fighting it off nicely.
And then, well, there in the middle of the screen, we saw Mitcho's father, who's been watching a lot of wrestling. You can see him here in the light sweater and glasses. Nick Mitcho Sr., who's been following Glassboro wrestling, seems like forever. And of course, Nick Mitcho Sr., instrumental in the midget program at Glassboro that's contributed so heavily to the success of Albert Si's program.
1 minute to go. Thorpe leading 7-3. No riding time for either wrestler yet. Mitcho needs a very quick takedown to get back in this match. No control either way. A stall warning against Glassboro. 36 seconds to go. Again, Thorpe manages to maneuver inside. Mitcho avoids the takedown. 7-6 Paulsboro leading Glassboro. And there's Mr. Mitcho. Mike's been talking about him, watching his son Rich trying to pull one out of the fire against Sam Thorpe.
His loyalties, of course, stretched to the limit this year. Which college to go to watch either of his 2 collegiate wrestling sons or the high school match. Nick Mitcho, an administrator in the public school system in Glassboro. Tonight, just a fan and a father. Great tension in the gym. And they break the tension with an announcement that you left your lights on in your car again, Bob. You've got to go out to the parking lot.
I wouldn't miss this match. We'll just let the battery run down.
Albert Si standing now talking to Mitcho. And interestingly, as we watch Frederick now giving instructions to his wrestler Thorpe, notice sitting in the second row behind the Glassboro wrestlers tonight, an interesting figure. Frederick's got Thorpe ready. We have a chance to take a look a little later. Willard Bryant, former All-American at Gloucester County College and a teammate of Si's for a year at Gloucester County College, where Si also won All-American honors, is here to help cheer his teammates' team on.
Mitcho needs a takedown, and he needs it real quickly. Only 14 seconds left. Thorpe leading 7-3. No riding time factor. Mitcho needs a minor miracle to pull this one out. He tries to maneuver in, but Thorpe, again with a double leg, he gets a takedown, leads 9-3 with 7 seconds to go.
He will not get a point for riding time. No way that can happen.
And apparently cannot get the major win either, so apparently Thorpe is going to have to settle for a 3-point decision win. 9-3. No riding time possibility. The escape by Mitcho makes it 9-4. That'll do it. Nice win by Sam Thorpe. 9-4. Paulsboro's lead now 10-6. We'll be back with more.
With the score 10-6 in Paulsboro's favor, we've got a classic matchup right now. For Glassboro, Brian Barratt. And for Paulsboro, Mark Love. Barratt 20-0, Love 18-0. 129-pound action.
Single leg by Love. Barratt manages to avoid that.
Barratt has been just a super athlete for Glassboro over the last couple of years, and he needs a victory here for the Bulldogs.
Barratt, of course, with the great senior football season, helping Glassboro win the South Jersey Group 1 championship, and he's gained all kind of confidence as an athlete as a result of his tremendous football performance. He was a good wrestler a year ago, Mike, but really did not have that outstanding a record. But this year, he's been awesome.
Brian was 15-8 last year and has certainly improved on that. The big thing, though, is his confidence level. Si's been quoted as saying, Brian Barratt wants the best wrestler. He doesn't even care what weight they are. He's moved up and down the lineup, of course, restricted somewhat by the weight condition, but he wants to go against the best. And even though they weighed in a couple of wrestlers at this weight class, I'm sure he was saying, hey, I want Mark Love. Mark Love, on the other hand, the second of the two Loves wrestling tonight, Eric Love, 17-0-1, moved his record to 18-0-1 with the win over Brian Sambuca at 101. Now Mark trying to duplicate that effort here.
And of course, Bob Brown with the big upset win of undefeated Sottile at 108. Barratt would like to return the favor and end Mark Love's all-winning streak. Wrestlers very careful with each other here in the first period. They're both very skilled, outstanding wrestlers, and this is a kind of match where one mistake can mean the difference.
Barratt attributes a lot of his success, Bob, to the weight program that he got put on and gained an awful lot of strength.
Love has been able to get inside to get his hands wrapped around Barratt's legs a couple of times, but Barratt with that great agility and balance keeping out of it. This time Barratt makes an aggressive move that Love manages to avoid. 25 seconds to go in a scoreless first period. Great wrestling at Paulsboro High School, South Jersey Group 1 championship. A lot of people think Glassboro can pull a minor upset tonight. They trail by 4, 10-6 after 4 weight classes. Here's where that pin comes in big, though, Mike, because Paulsboro's won 3 out of the 4 matches and only leads by 4 points. Single leg by Barratt. Looking for the takedown, but the period ends before he can make it work. Two fine wrestlers, very cautious with each other in the first, no scoring.
Brian Barratt, of course, the son of athletic director Bob Barratt at Glassboro High School, has been so helpful to us at Channel 5 over the last couple of years. The son of Bob Barratt and the brother of Linda Barratt, who was such a super athlete, graduating last June. Barratt's very important to the athletic programs at Glassboro High School.
Barratt has the top to start the second, and he returns Mark Love to the mat. What an effort by Brian Barratt when he got himself in all kind of trouble and avoided the reversal by Love. The takedown by Barratt makes it 2-0.
The big move, not so much that takedown for 2, but as you point out, Bob, that superb defensive effort when he found himself in trouble. And I think you're right, he put himself into it and then was able to counter Love's move to try and get points.
Just excellent, excellent wrestling. Love thought he was going to have the 2-0 lead, winds up down 2-0.
Fenimore just does not hear anything from the crowd, and he'll take control and keep it.
Love had gotten the escape before the Barratt takedown. It's 2-1. .113 to go in the second.
Two young men that both look equally confident. Great way to have them match up, isn't it?
Well, unfortunately, one of them is probably going to lose this match. Of course, we could have a draw, but two outstanding young wrestlers. Both seniors. 55 seconds to go in the second. 2-1 lead for Barratt.
.113 riding time advantage now to Barratt.
Barratt leading 2-1. Still has the top. Fenimore with the warning of Barratt does not like the positioning. Barratt says, I understand. Fenimore always explains everything.
Exactly. See, a lot of officials will call it and almost ignore the wrestler, it seems like. But Fenimore wants to know tell him why he made the call.
Move! 30 seconds.
24 seconds to go in the second period. It's another tight one. Barratt leading 2-1. And Barratt will have the bottom to start the third. Advantage as they go on his feet again. Barratt will try to ride him out if he can. He's going to be in the driver's seat with the bottom to start the third.
1:44 and counting riding time advantage.
7 seconds to go in the period.
Barratt will not want to give up the escape here.
Four seconds left. Barratt will simply try to continue the ride for the next 4 seconds. He does. After 2, Brian Barratt 2, Mark Love 1. Tough situation for Mark Love. He's down by 1, and Barratt, who's very active in the scoring position to start the third. Barratt also with a lot of riding time. He rode Love almost the entire period.
There's 1:45 advantage and losing, of course, some.
The escape by Barratt makes it 3-1 for the Bulldog senior. Love trying to get in for the single leg. Barratt with plus 1 minute and 42 seconds in riding time, so Love is going to have to get a quick takedown and either get back points or ride the rest of the period, or he could lose this match. Moved by Love, he gets inside. Oh, Barratt so strong, countering everything Love throws at him.
I'll tell you about that weight program we mentioned earlier. He really has improved his strength. This is just an absolutely must match for Glassboro. Ferrer scheduled to go next against Lombardo for Paulsboro, and of course Ferrer has not wrestled that much this year, 4-2 on the season.
Brian Barratt looking up at the clock, which says 55 seconds to go. 45 seconds left. Single leg by Barratt. He can pretty much wrap it up with a takedown here.
He knows it, and he's going after it. Very, very aggressive.
Love trying to counter the single leg, but he can't. Barratt gets the takedown and leads 5-1, and he's going to get a point for the ride, too. Now he's trying to get the half in. 20 seconds to go. Mark Love apparently will see his all-winning streak come to an end at 20. 15 seconds left. Excellent effort by Brian Barratt of Glassboro. 8 seconds to go.
The Glassboro fans love it on the far side from where we're seated. You can bet they'll be out of their seats and cheering if this one ends this way.
Five seconds. Love trying to make a late move. And he gets 2 to make it
5-5, it'll be riding time will be the difference. Let's see. No?
Oh, it was 5-1. Wait a minute.
He gave him 2 for a reversal and 2 back points.
That's right. 6-5 win. for Brian Barratt. 4 late points, not enough for Love. It's 10-9. Paulsboro will be back.
Only 1 point separates these two teams looking for the South Jersey Group 1 Championship. Paulsboro 10, Glassboro 9, and we've had a switch. We're going to go with Tom Villec here at 135 against Anthony Lombardo for Paulsboro. I've got my scorecard is just filled with names.
Unbelievable. We don't have any idea who's throwing who. Actually, both coaches gave me some possibilities of different weight classes, Mike, that just have not worked out. We're just flying by the skin of our teeth here trying to figure out who's wrestling. Anyway, Lombardo with a takedown leading Villec, the freshman, 2-0. 10-9. Paulsboro leading in this match. Everything everybody thought it would be. Outstanding.
Villec, the freshman, coming in 8-6-1. Lombardo, senior, 14-3.
Cradle by Lombardo. He's trying to put Villec away early. He's got him on his back. Paulsboro fans want the pin. Oh, can Villec get out of it? Oh, he did. 3 back points make it 5-1. The escape by Villec. Almost a pin by Lombardo. Somehow Villec managed to avoid it. Single leg by Lombardo. He's dominating Villec early. Villec only a freshman. 7-1 on another takedown by Lombardo. Lombardo knows he can get Villec in a precarious situation. He may be thinking pin all the way now. Villec trying to sit out. 7-1 lead for Lombardo. Villec working hard. And he reverses to make it 7-3. The freshman battling back after being down 7-1.
How about that move, huh? Did that show some confidence on his part?
That could really turn things around. Glassboro fans were off their feet on that one. What excitement. This could be one of those pivotal matches too, Mike. Glassboro sending the freshman out there, perhaps not anticipating a win, but if Villec can pull an upset of Lombardo here, it could switch things all the way around. Paulsboro's won 3 matches. Glassboro's won 2. And on the scoreboard, it's Paulsboro 10, Glassboro 9. Barratt defeating Mark Love in a battle of unbeatens at 129. Great wrestling. End of a high-scoring first period. Paulsboro's Anthony Lombardo leading Tom Villec 7-3.
That last 40 seconds, Villec wasn't wrestling like a freshman.
He was almost pinned, and he came back from that situation to score 2 points. That cradle almost resulting in a pin. Lombardo on the bottom. Right shoulder heavily taped. Glassboro fans want to stall against.
Right now, they were arguing Lombardo was biting Villec on the arm.
Oh.
I can't imagine that.
Villec on top, trails by 4, 1:35 to go in the second.
Riding time now even. Not a factor.
Cross face by Villec. He still has control, but Lombardo. Cradle! He almost had Villec in trouble again.
2 back points.
Keeping his control.
At least 2 back points.
Glassboro fans beginning a rhythmic applause.
7-5. Stall warning.
Stall warning. Boy, Villec has completely turned this match around. Nearly pinned. He's only down 7-5 with 35 seconds to go in the second.
That early aggressiveness of Lombardo has really been countered and just turned away by Villec.
25 seconds to go. Lombardo looking up at the clock.
Right. Coaches do not like to see the wrestlers doing that.
The freshman, Tom Villec, doing a great job for Glassboro. 10 seconds to go in the period.
Now the Glassboro fans want a stall point.
Villec trying to cradle at the buzzer. He runs out of time when he was trying to cradle Lombardo.
7-5, Bob. A minute and 24 riding time advantage, Villec.
And Villec right where he wants to be. He has the bottom down by 2. He could win this match, Mike. He could win it very easily. Reversal here, hold on, get the riding time point. He could win this match.
Hey, that's easy for you to say, huh? That's the way to do it. Lombardo's going to have a lot to say about it.
Lombardo now looking for the cradle. He almost pinned Villec on one of these in the first period.
Villec trying to counter the same way.
He gets 2 back points, and they're big ones for Lombardo. That makes it 9-5. So 5 of the 9 Lombardo points as a result of those cradles in the first and third periods.
And now Villec's riding time advantage is well under a minute.
1:20 to go. Excitement at 1:35. Again the cradle by Lombardo. Villec very vulnerable to the cradle. 2 more back points make it 11-5. Glassboro fans angry. They don't think those back points should have been awarded. Cross-body ride by Lombardo with 48 seconds to go, and Villec trying to make one more game move to turn this bat around. 12-5 Lombardo. Lombardo again was working Villec into a cradle situation. 35 seconds left. Anthony Lombardo, the Paulsboro senior, leading the Glassboro freshman Tom Villec 12-5. Riding time will not be a factor in this match. Lombardo 1 point away from a major win. Villec working hard. Again, Lombardo thinking cradle. He's got him back there again. 15 seconds to go. Lombardo trying to pin Tom Villec. 6 would look very big. 9 seconds left. But again, Villec gets out of it. Excellent wrestling by Anthony Lombardo and Tom Villec. A 15-5 win by Lombardo. That's 4 big points for Paulsboro. Their lead now 14-9.
Glassboro, of course, had picked up the pin at 115 pounds. Bob Bruno getting it there to pick up 6 points. Now, Paulsboro without a pin, but with 2 major decisions. Brian Sambuca defeated by Eric Love. And the major decision by Lombardo. Now we go to 141, and now we'll see Ferrer. Milt Ferrer is going to go against Fred Sudter. Ferrer 4-2 on the season. Sudter 16-2.
Sudter, one of the leaders of this Paulsboro team. He knows they can use some more points here. Ferrer with a big challenge. He's the underdog coming into this one. A win by Lombardo over Villec, who was a very game competitor.
Whoa.
Ferrer just about threw Sudter off the mat. Sudter was involved in a high-scoring match in the semifinals last night, winning an 18-10 decision. Paulsboro has won 4 of these 6 matches, but leads by only 5 points. Takedown by Sudter, who leads 2-0. Boy, Mike, it's been a long time since we've seen a wrestling match where the fan enthusiasm was running as high as it has all night.
That's the big thing on every bout. And every bout, although some of them by wide margins, during the course of the bout, they've been great ones. Action going both ways, and it's kept this crowd alive throughout the entire evening.
1:15 to go in the first. Sudter on top, leading 2-0. Ferrer trying to get on his feet. Switch stride by Ferrer, but Sudter, a very experienced wrestler, countering that. Lombardo almost had Villec pinned 3 or 4 different occasions. Villec very courageously fought it off each time and was a loser in a major decision. Mike, Glassboro in a situation now where they need some points pretty quickly, because if Sudter can win here, Paulsboro's got the great Tony Gentile coming up next at 148. So everybody expecting a win by Tony. Paulsboro could open a lead over these next couple of weight classes. Sudter has Ferrer momentarily on his back. Fenimore says no back points. Paulsboro fans really on Fenimore tonight. Think these fans aren't into the wrestling? 40 seconds to go in the first, a 2-0 Sudter lead. $20 seconds to go. Sudter has Ferrer in some trouble. Ferrer bridging out of it again. Sudter trying to throw the half in and turn Ferrer over. 9 seconds to go in the period. A couple of back points make it 4-0 for Sudter.
Now the fans getting on Albert's side, who walked around and suggested a timeout situation called for. He's going to get his way there. He felt his wrestler, Ferrer, was shaken up, came down on his head on the opposite side. Wanted to take the time to check with Milt, see how he feels. Fenimore gets the injury timeout clock running. Sy will discuss this point with Fenimore.
7 seconds left in the period. This is 141-pound action. We've wrestled 6 matches, 6 more to go. Paulsboro with a 14-9 lead, and they've won 4 of the first 6 bouts. The only winners for Glassboro, Bob Bruno remaining undefeated at 115, and Brian Barratt also remaining undefeated at 129 in that great matchup with also undefeated Mark Love. Sudter will try to ride Ferrer out to end the period, but a good move by Ferrer gets the escape, and it's 4-1. Ferrer showing fine quickness. Relatively untested sophomore wrestler, doing a pretty good job here in the first period. 1 second to go. Fred Sudter, another in a line of fine wrestlers from his family. A lot of outstanding wrestling families in the Paulsboro, Gibbstown area over the years. Sudter has the bottom to start period number 2. Tries a sit out, and he'll get the escape to make it 5-1. Single leg by Sudter works it into a takedown. 7-1 lead for Sudter.
Sudter just so mature looking, not only physically, of course, but the confidence that he exhibits in his moves. Seems to be treating Ferrer as an irritant to himself, doesn't he? Just getting upset and wants the big points. 7-1 and 1:15 riding time advantage with 1:45 to go in the second.
He'll try to break Ferrer down. Sudter, a very heady wrestler, one of the captains of this team. He knows his mission. He's thinking breaking Ferrer down. Ferrer very inexperienced and looking for the 6 big team points. A pin here would really loom big. It would give Paulsboro a 20-9 lead, but of course Ferrer, a very formidable opponent for the senior. Ferrer thinking switch, but Sudter countering everything. Ferrer has the quickness, but Sudter seems to be a bit stronger, Mike, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with the experience factor, too.
Sudter's been there.
1:22 to go in the second. Paulsboro 14, Glassboro 9. These two outstanding wrestling teams battling for one of the 4 spots in the state finals at Roselle Park this weekend. In the second.
Ferrer strictly defensive wrestling right now. Minute and 57 riding time advantage, Sudter.
Ferrer manages to get on his feet again. Sudter keeping control, returns Ferrer to the mat. Crowd a bit subdued in this match. There have been some outstanding, exciting matches so far, and they've been into just about every bout.
Paulsboro fans looking for a pin, and I think it'd be correct to say the Glassboro fans, many of them sitting back and not necessarily looking for the victory, but just hoping against that pin.
Sudter allows Ferrer to get free at 7-2. Both of Ferrer's points on escapes. Quick move by Sudter, gets the single leg, but excellent job by Ferrer to avoid the takedown. Sudter exhibiting excellent quickness, but Ferrer doing the same thing. 42 seconds. Single leg again by Sudter. He'll take his time with this one, and he makes it work. 9-2. All Fred Sudter so far. "15 seconds left in the period. A 9-2 lead for Fred Sudter with 6 seconds to go in the second. I said at the top of the show, a lot of people who tried to figure out how this match would go thought it was a strong possibility Glassboro would win 6, but they've only won 2 of the first 6. And if Sudter can hold on here, it'll only be 2 of the first 7. Bruno's pin helping keep Glassboro close. A big 6-pointer at 1:15.
Well, we had hoped to see, of course, Chiappi go against Gentile at 170. Chiappi with 20-0 and Gentile 18-0. But you take a look at what's happening right now and project a victory here for Sudter, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some jockeying and perhaps dropping Chiappi down to 188 to go against Widner. And Cy figuring maybe a pin there, and then, of course, trouble area for Paulsboro all year at heavyweight. Bruce Carr, the sophomore, doing such a superb job for Glassboro there. Cy might figure on 12 points at the bottom.
Another good move by Ferrer. 9-3 on his third escape. Ferrer needs something to happen very quickly for him. He's down by 6.
Plus a riding time point, pretty definite.
Good move. Head and heel by Sudter works into another takedown. That's an 11-3 lead. It'll be 12 with the riding time, so Sudter now looking at least a major win if he can hang on and deny Ferrer any more points. Every team point important in a match like this. 1:28 to go in the third. Ferrer trying a sit-out, but it's countered by Sudter. 1:20 left. It's been all Fred Sudter. The only 3 points for Ferrer on escapes. Sudter is still thinking pin. 1 minute to wrestle.
Stall warning.
Stall warning against Ferrer underneath. Sudter very methodically trying to break Ferrer down. Now he's got the cradle on him. It's a favorite hold of the Raiders. Ferrer out of trouble. 2 more back points make it 13-3. 34 seconds to go. Sudter, if he gets 2 more points, can come up with a superior win, which would be 5 team points. Right now, he's in a situation where he's almost guaranteed 4 unless Ferrer can make a 2-point escape, a 2-point reversal. Checking with the scores to make sure that the totals on the board are correct. Apparently, they are 13-3. The sophomore Ferrer has done a nice job, but the more experienced Sudter simply has been too much for him so far. The bar arm for Sudter. He's trying to turn. The walk around by Sudter with 14 seconds to go. A potentially dangerous hold is called by Fenimore. Sudter trying to figure out how to come up with 2 more points to nail down the superior win. He has 14 seconds to do it. He lets him go. He's going to go for the takedown. 13-4, gets a single leg. Takedown would give him 5 points. Running out of time, 3 seconds. He won't get it. Good job by Ferrer. A 14-4 win by Sudter, and 14 points make it 18-9 for Paulsboro. We'll take this break and be back with more action from Paulsboro High School.
Well, we've got an interesting situation here, Bob.
Very interesting.
It's like a forfeit at...
A forfeit for Tony Gentile makes it 24-9. Totally unexpected.
And now we'll move right to 158-pound action. George Fiorelli in the red for Paulsboro. And we're going to go with Talbert at 158 pounds. What a confusing...
well, I've never seen anything this confusing as far as who we were told was wrestling, Mike. This has been unbelievable.
Well, we'll quickly with the pancake move, huh? Fiorelli, 15-3-1, a junior. Talbot, senior, at 10-5-0 on the season.
So everybody expected Tony Gentile to win and stay undefeated at 48 for Paulsboro, but nobody expected him to receive the forfeit. And Mike, that gives Paulsboro a 15-point lead with only 4 weight classes to go, and Jimmy Gentile coming up in one of these matches.
All right, what Cy apparently is doing, Bob, is dropping everybody down from this weight. Okay, he's got Talbot now, who will wrestle here, and expect to see Chris Dillia, the fine 18-2 wrestler, go at 170, Chiappi to go at 188, and then I imagine Carr will finish it off at heavyweight as expected. But if you take a look at it, that would be the best matchups for the Bulldogs.
Stacked by Fiorelli. No back points, still 2-0 Fiorelli. The Paulsboro fans still on Fenimore, but a win by Fiorelli here would make everything just about academic, Mike. Yes. It would be very, very tough for Glassboro to come back. Matter of fact, it would be impossible. If a win by Fiorelli would close Glassboro out. If Fiorelli won a 3-point decision to make it 27-9, and Glassboro won the last 3 by pins, we'd have a tie at 27.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The escape by Talbot makes it 2-1 Fiorelli. It has been so confusing tonight to keep track of who was out there wrestling, but the big surprise, what none of us anticipated, Tony Gentile receiving the 6-point forfeit win at 48.
Well, that's what I don't understand. With the projection of how tight it can be, why Cy didn't, he had John Bruno weighed in at that weight. Why didn't send him out against Gentile? The worst could happen would be the 6-point loss anyway because of a pin. At least take the chance there to maybe not lose the 6.
That's showing remarkable respect for Tony Gentile, isn't it? I figure he might get to 6, but I don't see how you concede it to him.
Not with the wrestler weighed in, even when you want to move these the rest of the wrestlers down a class or up a class.
Single leg by Fiorelli. A lot of pressure on Pete Talbot. Talbot was penciled in at 148 tonight, moved to 58 because of the forfeit win to Gentile. And all the pressure on Talbot's shoulders now. He is in a must-win situation for the Bulldogs. A 4-point decision by Fiorelli would end this match and give Paulsboro the win. Unexpected development. Tony Gentile, the forfeit winner. 3 seconds. End of 1 at 158 pounds. George Fiorelli of Paulsboro leading Pete Talbot 2-1. So Mike, Paulsboro has won 6 of the first 8 matches. Sit out attempted by Talbot. Fiorelli with the ride.
When you look back on it, I'm not sure that there was any real surprise other than the Brown win at 108. The rest could have gone either way on paper. The Barratt and Love, of course, confrontation, a toss-up. Barratt coming out with that victory.
The escape. But Talbot ties it at 2.
Frederick up. He hasn't been up out of that seat that much all night. He is this time.
That was Bill Jones to his right, one of the assistant coaches. Mike, we identified him as one of the Paulsboro assistants last time, and his wife wondered about that, so we're going to identify him by his name tonight. Bill Jones. Van Lynch on the other side of Bob Frederick. A 2-2 tie on the escape by Talbot. 1:15 to go in the second. Albert Sy apparently taking a big gamble and forfeiting at 148 and hoping that his last 5 wrestlers all win. And that's just about what it's going to take. One minute exactly left in the second. Both of Fiorelli's points on a takedown. 2 escapes for Talbot. Talbot an easy winner at 148 in the semifinal match, 7-1. And Fiorelli also won handily over his Manchester opponent, 7-2. He wrestled at 158 also last night. Both teams winning their semifinals by an identical 40 points. Fiorelli almost left himself wide open, got out of trouble. 29 seconds to go in the second. The pressure on Pete Talbot of Glassboro on the right of your screen.
Fiorelli, 124 riding time advantage. 24 seconds left in this period. Third time now these two teams have met in the South Jersey Group 1 finals. Remember, Paulsboro, the victor of the last 2 years, 34-11 last year. Cy and the Bulldogs felt this would be their year. So far, the Raiders turning them away.
5 seconds to go in the period. End of 2, a 2-2 tie. Fiorelli in the driver's seat, however. He has the bottom and he has a 1:24 riding time, so even if Talbot is able to ride Fiorelli out the entire period, we would have a 2-2 tie because it would negate Fiorelli's riding time, whereas an escape or reversal by Fiorelli could prove to be the winning points. Two evenly matched wrestlers at 58. Lots of excitement at Paulsboro High School in the South Jersey Group 1 Championship Wrestling match. In Paulsboro, the winner the first 2 years this competition has been held, with a near hammerlock on a third consecutive win tonight. .150 to go. Fiorelli and Talbot showing great concentration. They know how important this is for both teams. Fiorelli escapes. 3-2, he leads. Now looking for the takedown, which could pretty much close it out. He gets it, and he's got Talbot on his back. Fiorelli trying to finish off Talbot, and in the process, finish off Glassboro. It's 5-2. And the back points make it 7-2 for Fiorelli. Bar arm for Fiorelli, who suddenly is dominating after being in a 2-2 tie after 2. 1:20 to go. A 3-point win by Fiorelli would force Glassboro to score pins in the final 3 matches to pull even. And of course, Paulsboro's got Jimmy Gentile coming up at 1-7, and even if he should lose, he does not figure to get pinned.
18-0 and one of the absolute premier wrestlers in South Jersey, if not the whole state.
1 minute exactly to go in the third period of the 158-pound match. Fiorelli trying to set up a stack, now throwing the half in, trying to turn Talbot over. Fiorelli has taken charge in the third.
And Fiorelli, definite 1-point riding time now. Cannot lose that.
A good move by Talbot, reverses Fiorelli at 7-4. 32 seconds to go.
Well, he needs 4. He needs 4 points for the tie. It's 7-4 on the scoreboard, plus 1 for riding time. So it's 8-4 effectively.
Talbot must put Fiorelli on his back, and he must do it quickly. 32 seconds to wrestle.
30 seconds.
$20 seconds, Bob.
Fiorelli trying to virtually shut the door on Glassboro. Fiorelli trying for some late points. Tries to switch. Talbot nicely hanging on, but he's got to put Fiorelli on his back, and George seems to want no part of it. 10 seconds to go.
Well, we watched Fiorelli in football this fall, Bob. One of the least heralded members of that fine football team at Paulsboro, and again he comes in a wrestling team and doesn't get much ink or much publicity, and yet he's about to come up with his 16th win of the season, 5 seconds away from it.
Now 3 seconds. Fiorelli, if he hangs on for 3 more seconds, will make it impossible for Glassboro to win. They would tie with 3 pins. That's it. Fiorelli wins 8-4. Paulsboro with a 27-9 lead over Glassboro with just 3 matches to go.
Everybody in the gym knows what has to happen now, Bob.
We're going to see Dillia come out against Gentile, I believe, Mike.
Yep. Dropped them down. Moved Talbot down. Gave up the forfeit to Tony Gentile. Moved Talbot down, and now they've moved Dillia down. So Dillia will go against Jim Gentile. Chris Dillia, 18-2. Jim Gentile, 18-0.
All Gentile has to do is avoid being pinned, and Paulsboro will be the South Jersey Group 1 champions. Single leg by Dillia. Gentile quickly out of it. Chris Dillia, great quarterback on the Glassboro High School football team that won the South Jersey Group 1 championship. I don't think too many people, Mike, expected Paulsboro to be ahead 27-9 at this stage in the match.
27-9 without the pin, but with the 6-point forfeit.
$1:10 to go in the first.
Well, people will be talking a bit about the side gamble for quite a while, huh? When this one finishes, particularly if Glassboro does pull closer.
Well, there may be some circumstances we're not aware of, too. Of course, we'll not be able to check that until after the match. Could be an illness or something that happened that created an impossible situation for Cy to get a wrestler in. Good job by Chris Dillia.
We know he's a gutty performer, watching him in football. Now to move up in weight class to go against not only someone of greater weight, but somebody with the superb reputation of Jim Gentile. Really a challenge for this fine athlete.
3 matches to go. Glassboro down by 18 points. Dillia has to pin. Chiappi has to come behind him and pin. And the heavyweight Carr has to pin.
And it looks so far out of reach right now, doesn't it? With 5 seconds to go in the first period, 27-9, the match score in Paulsboro favor. But how about if Dillia comes up with the upset, not only knocks Gentile out of the unbeaten ranks, but gets the pin. All of a sudden, when you look at the next 2 matchups, on paper at least, it isn't that far-fetched.
It could happen. Chiappi, of course, undefeated, could count on a pin possibly from them in that situation, and Carr with the better heavyweight record, but
better 16-3 against Kniestat's 0-5 record. That's a better one, and one that would predict the possibility of a pin. So, big difference in the score right now. It's all in the hands of Dillia and Gentile, with the greater responsibility on Chris Dillia's shoulders.
Dillia giving away some weight to Jimmy Gentile. Reversal makes it 2-0. Gentile with the first 2 points of the match.
Every time a Paulsboro wrestler raises an opponent up in the air, I think every Paulsboro fan here thinks back to a couple of seasons ago in a famous state final match.
Billy Hyman losing a state championship on what was declared an illegal slam when he was handily defeating his opponent and en route to what appeared to be an undefeated state championship season. .125 to go in the second. Gentile leading Dillia 2-0. Dillia putting up a very game match. Chris with an 18-2 mark. Gentile undefeated. Gentile thinking stack, trying to turn Dillia over. Chris trying to squirm off the mat. Excellent crowd at Paulsboro High School seeing it's an excellent wrestling match. Crowd is quieted somewhat. I believe the suddenness of Paulsboro breaking open a big lead after leading only 10-9 has really surprised a lot of people. Paulsboro has scored the last 17 points. And of course, what nobody expected, the 6-point forfeit win to Gentile right in the middle, which looms so big right now. Paulsboro with the greatest wrestling heritage in South Jersey, and despite that 96-match losing streak ending this year, their success just keeps going on and on. And Glassboro, what a tremendous couple of seasons they've had under Albert Sy and his staff. Dillia doing a fine job against Jimmy Gentile, but trailing 2-0. 24 seconds left in the second. Gentile plus a minute 25 on the riding time so far. Dillia trying to switch. Gentile continuing his ride with 18 seconds to go in the period.
Gentile confident, strong, just in control with only the 2-point lead, but really has had the better of it.
3 seconds. End of 2. A couple of excellent combatants at 170 pounds. Gentile with the upper hand so far leads Chris Dillia 2-0. Dillia needing a miracle not only for himself but for the team. He's got to pin Gentile to keep Glassboro's faint hopes alive. And he begins the final period on the bottom. Albert Sy, rather quiet tonight considering the fact that his team, which such a promising opportunity to win this one, is so far down with this period and 2 matches after this to go.
And Sy wanted this for so many reasons. Of course, early in the year, this team getting off to that slow start, losing the 2 to Lenape, and then a 2-point loss to Highland. Highland in the top 3, of course. And Sy figuring his team was better than they've been ranked all season long, and he comes in here against the number 4 Paulsboro, which is an unusual position for them to find themselves in. Figures a victory here gets them up in the top 5 at the very least, but it does not look right now that it's going to happen. Get that recognition factor for your program, Bob, and it makes the coaching so much easier the following years, because you get the youngsters in the town following the sport, you get them into the midget programs, and you get them into the tradition. So you talk about the colleges worrying about top 10s, and there's a different reason for it at the high school level, of course. Get that following, get the fans, and get the participants.
Dillia with a great effort, but Gentile just a bit too strong for Chris. Gentile again thinking stack. 1:17 to go, a 2-0 lead for Gentile.
And you have to wonder what that tradition does for Bob Frederick and his staff here at Paulsboro. The youngsters come along, they just are raised on the tradition of Paulsboro wrestling, and how many they have competing each year for each weight class at each age level. And then you come into a big match like this one. That tradition's got to be worth a few points somewhere. Got to make the difference between Paulsboro and the teams they find opposing them.
No question about that. Great confidence factor. Gentile 55 seconds away from a win. Paulsboro 55 seconds away from a possible 3rd consecutive South Jersey Group 1 championship. And a trip Saturday, 2 days hence, to Roselle Park.
Remember, you'll catch that action for the state Group 1 championship. The semis first. Paulsboro's, if they're it, or Glassboro, if they pull this one out, which doesn't look likely now, but whichever team is there, the semifinal action first on Channel 5.
Gentile able to counter everything Dillia's tried so far. 40 seconds left. Evidence of Gentile's domination of this match. 3:26 on the riding time and counting. Dillia with only 6 seconds ride. 17 seconds to go.
10 seconds away from closing the door.
Gentile looking at the clock, looking at official Fenimore. He has 10 seconds of ride to go. Dillia one more time trying to sit out. Gentile with his excellent experience will try to counter it. Dillia trying to reverse at the buzzer, but he can't do it. Gentile holds on. He wins 3-0. Paulsboro with a 30-9 lead. They win the South Jersey Group 1 championship for the third year in a row. We'll be back.
And Chiappi. 30-9, Paulsboro's done it. They'll be the South Jersey representative at the state competition. They've got another Group 1 championship for the third year in a row. They've defeated Glassboro. We're at 188-pound action now. Bill Chiappi, outstanding undefeated wrestler for Glassboro, going against Bill Widner for Paulsboro, but everything anticlimactic from this point out, isn't it, Bob?
That's right. Who would have believed Paulsboro would lead 30-9 after the 10th weight class? Double leg by Chiappi, a great undefeated wrestler. He'll want 6 for the Bulldogs. He gets a takedown, tries to throw the half in to turn Widner. Chiappi, one of the great inspirational leaders in this Glassboro team. As a matter of fact, he really had a lot to do with Glassboro turning its season around early. Reversal by Widner makes it 2-2. Paulsboro undefeated on Channel 5 over there. Of course, they're undefeated a lot of other places.
Yes, sure are, aren't they? The only defeat in the last 100 and some matches now, of course, at the hands of Cherry Hill East, after they had won 97 straight.
Their record on Channel 5 almost as good as the Oakland Raiders on Monday Night Football. One minute to go in the first, a 2-2 tie. I'm not going to reveal what your prediction was before the match, Mike, but the final score is just going to be a little bit off. The escape by Chiappi makes it 3-2.
With that kind of a statement, really difficult for everyone out there to know who I picked, isn't it?
Well, I think you picked a tie, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a tie. That's the way we always do it. I'm glad to see that you fixed your headset. It'll give us an opportunity for everyone to see you at home. Another comment like that, we're going to send you out on the heavyweight match.
Widner trying to reverse Chiappi. He does. 4-3 is Chiappi with Widner with just 3 seconds to go in the period. Goes ahead of Chiappi, 4-3. Billy Widner 4, Bill Chiappi 3. Paulsboro fans, although the victory is already safely tucked away, trying to add more points to complete their devastation of the Bulldogs.
I have to wonder how Frederick had this one figured out in advance. I don't think I've seen Bob Frederick as calm at any match, no matter what the score, in the last couple of years. You have an idea he had it all figured out.
Bob Frederick. His coaching staff, Bob Frederick, as you mentioned, Mike, 197 wins against 5 losses and a tie in South Jersey. That does not include his record in North Carolina before he moved back to the area.
He's third now in South Jersey history. The 2 coaches ever seeded his victory total in South Jersey. As we get some more points to be awarded here. Jack Harford at Pennsville, who's now retired, in second position with 227 victories. And, of course, Ralph Ross at Highland, who's still active, 229 victories going into his competition tonight. And, in fact, it was last night's semifinal victory that put Frederick third in the all-time list and goes past Jack Welch, the former Moorestown coach, who had such a tremendous career there at Moorestown.
And Williamstown before that.
Under Frederick now, last 3 Group 1 championships. They've only won 11 districts. Well, they'll be looking for the 11th district win under Frederick. They've won 18 here at Paulsboro.
And we'll be televising that one too, Mike.
That's right, starting in 61, Bob. They've only missed it in 68, 69, and 71.
1:15 left in the second period. Widner surprisingly on top of undefeated Chiappi. 4-3. Willie Widner having an outstanding season too. A lot of these Paulsboro wrestlers with good records, Mike, being overshadowed by some of their unbeatens.
Absolutely.
Reversal by Chiappi makes it 5-3. 5-4 for Chiappi, excuse me. With 42 seconds to go in the second period. Boy, I tell you, the crowd is still alive here, even though the Raiders have put this one away.
Chiappi's father now leaning down on one knee on the far side of the gym, cheering his son on.
Widner trying to sit out. And Widner escapes to make it a 5-5 tie. Willie Widner doing an excellent job. Two very fine senior wrestlers. 25 seconds. One of the better matches of the night. And Paulsboro fans,
they know.
Appreciative.
They, of course, are so knowledgeable about wrestling, and they know the Chiappi story and the situation, and they're really appreciative of Widner's performance.
7 seconds left in the period.
Chiappi injured. Talking to Fenimore now. He's got some blood coming from the nose. Not sure that that's the problem. His left hand he seems to be holding as if there's a problem to it, but they'll go over to attend to the nosebleed. Interestingly, a little confidence here at Paulsboro. They made plans already for buses to Roselle Park, anticipating the victory tonight, and you can bet that they'll be full.
Paulsboro wrestling fans always have followed their teams all over the state. Willie Widner's who doing so very well. Fred Sudter, who had a big win earlier for the Raiders. And Tony Gentile on the right. Tony didn't even have to wrestle tonight. He got the forfeit win. Some of the crowd. We have an excellent crowd at Paulsboro tonight, and they've seen a good match. The score really not indicating how good a match it's been. Paulsboro 30, Glassboro 9.
Always love to look at the Paulsboro wrestling fans because you see a complete cross-section of the community, Bob. From the youngest kids are always here, generally sitting around the mat. They don't allow it here in the NJSIAA competition. Right on through.
Chiappi with a great move for a 7-5 lead at the buzzer. Bill Chiappi showing why he's undefeated. 2 minutes to go. Chiappi able to bounce back from that little problem near the end of the second period to quickly go ahead 7-5 with a takedown. Widner trying to sit out to start the third. Each team has seen one of its undefeated wrestlers lose tonight. Rob Sottile being upset by Paulsboro's Bob Brown at 108. And in the matchup of unbeatens at 129, Glassboro's Brian Barratt stayed that way, defeating Mark Love, who suffered his first loss. Chiappi trying to turn Widner over, but Widner escapes to make it 7-6. Interesting match at 188.
And a 47-second advantage in riding time to Widner. Chiappi looks tired.
He does look tired. Of course, these wrestlers performed last night, too. They had to have the semifinals last night to get this far. There's Mr. Chiappi watching intently as his son tries to stay undefeated.
And that's the quietest he's been throughout this match. What's tougher, out on the mat or watching them perform?
I think out on the mat.
Well, our director, of course, tonight, our executive producer at Channel 5, Ron Gotti, says on the mat, spoken like a former wrestler. I watched him on the old-timers wrestling match, and he wrestled like a former wrestler.
Chiappi with another strong move for a takedown to make it 9-6. If Chiappi's tired, he still has a lot left. 31 seconds to go. One of the better matches of the evening, and Bill Chiappi trying to become the third Glassboro wrestler to stay undefeated tonight. There are only 2 wins by wrestlers who are still undefeated. Bruno at 115, Barratt at 129.
When you look back, I guess the tempo really set in the opening bout of the night. Eric Love winning a major decision, 12-3 over Brian Sambuca. A bout that everybody thought would be a lot closer than that, and in fact was a toss-up on paper, could go either way. Maybe Glassboro thinking they needed it a little more.
A cradle by Chiappi. He's trying to pin Widner. Got him in a very tough spot. Widner desperately trying to get out of it, and does. 3 back points by Chiappi make it 12-6. He's done a great job. Settles for a 3-point win. Chiappi staying undefeated, defeating Widner 12-6. And the team score now, Paulsboro 30 and Glassboro 12. Third win tonight by the Bulldogs. $30 for Paulsboro, 12 for Glassboro. Final match of the evening coming up.
Heavyweight, Bruce Carr, 16-3-0. Andy Kniestout, 0-5 for Paulsboro. What a sophomore find this has been for Albert Sy. Bruce Carr. He's got the size, he's got speed, he's got strength, he's aggressive, and he scares you to death to look at him.
I think you can handle him, Mike. Kniestout giving away a lot of pounds in this one.
Anyone wishing directions to Roosevelt Park may pick up directions tomorrow morning in the principal office.
A surprise. Not that Paulsboro won it, but they won it so handily.
Well, Paulsboro wins, and Bob Shryock gets a trip to North Jersey this weekend.
Well, of course, we were going either way, but takedown by Carr makes it 2-0 for the Glassboro heavyweight. Channel 5 will be there at Roselle Park to bring Gloucester County wrestling fans a Group 1 state final. Paulsboro going in the semifinal Saturday afternoon. We'll do that one and come back at night, either watching Paulsboro in the finals if they win, or in the consolation if they should happen to lose that first bout.
And you'll want to check your TV listings on your converter. Find out exactly what night those matches will be replayed.
Carr had a big win in Glassboro's 46-6 semifinal victory over Lacey Township. Carr with a 4:48 pin. And Kniestout was the Paulsboro heavyweight against Manchester. He lost 10-2. Carr thinking pin all the way.
Pete Lamani, athletic director of Paulsboro. We extend our thanks to him. Pete, of course, an institution here in Paulsboro. What a super athlete here, and then went on to a fine collegiate career and has spent his entire professional career here at the high school, and always get the greatest amount of help from Pete Lamani.
That's right. Of course, Pete watches a lot of events on Channel 5. After 1, Carr leads Kniestout 2-0. Well, Mike, we thought this match would come right down to the heavyweight bout tonight, or had a very good chance of doing that, but in fact, Gentile's win over Jimmy Gentile's win at 170 was the clincher, and Fiorelli's win over Dillia in the previous weight class put Glassboro in a situation where they would have had to pin in the final 3 bouts just to get a tie.
Reviewing quickly as we watch this heavyweight bout, Sambuca losing to Love. Now assistant coach for Glassboro, Bob Cleary. He's been associated with the program for a long time there. Sambuca losing to Love. Sottile of Glassboro beaten by Bob Brown. Well, we'll go back to the action here, getting close to a pin.
Paniste out trying to bridge out, but he can't do it. Carr with a pin, saving some face for Glassboro. They get 6 big points, wins by Chiappi and Carr in the last 2 weight classes. Final score, Paulsboro 30, Glassboro 18. We'll be back with a wrap-up.
Big question opens the evening. Will Paulsboro be able to turn back the Glassboro threat for the 3rd time in a row? Last 2 seasons they met, Paulsboro winning easily. Again, when we take a look tonight at the final score, 30-18, it's going to look like it was an easy night again for Paulsboro. Glassboro gave them everything they could throw at them, but the Paulsboro experience, the Paulsboro tradition came through one more time, and one has to wonder how much that tradition has to do with the easy time that these Raiders seem to have in championship wrestling activity. Right now, the man who's responsible over the last decade for that Paulsboro tradition, Bob Frederick, is with our Bob Shryock. Bob?
TV.
Bob Frederick, congratulations. Another win, 198 in your career at Paulsboro. This one particularly big, a 3rd consecutive South Jersey Group 1 championship. But I guess what surprises a lot of people, the score, 30-18, and really not that close because Glassboro won the final 2 matches after you'd wrapped it up. Your overall impressions?
Well, I think it was a lot closer than you indicated. There, you know, a lot of times you can win 12 matches by 1 point, and it looks like a blowout, and it wasn't. We won some. We did some things very, very well early. Bobby Brown is an extremely gutty wrestler, and he's done some things this year that if we could have gotten them from some other kids, we would be in better shape than we are right now. But Bobby has stabilized our lineup when he went to 108. When you start mentioning individual names, you start letting some people out that should be mentioned. Tonight was a team effort. It was probably the first time we had a team effort all year. And anybody that knows Paulsboro knows that we haven't had the good, solid team efforts this year, but this year we did. Anthony Lombardo did a real fine job, a gutty performance. You know, a lot of times you don't necessarily have to win to have a gutty performance, but we had some gutty performances and won, and we had some gutty performances and lost. And as long as you have those, you know that regardless of the outcome, you can hold your head high, and we had it tonight, and we can hold our head high.
Of course, wrestling coaches love to go up and down the projected lineups, Bob, and look at a win here and a potential loss here, whatever. Eric Love got you started very nicely with a win at 101, then at 108. You mentioned Bob Brown. That was one that probably the Glassboro fans thought they would win.
Yeah, I thought going into the match we had 3 or 4 toss-up matches. I considered that a toss-up. I considered about 4 matches a toss-up, depending on the coin toss. But that was a big win for us. But you know, we had some other big wins and some other great efforts. But Bobby Brown did it tonight, and he did it against Pemberton, and he did a great job against Cherry Hill East. And the young man is blessed with a great attitude and a great heart, and that's probably the most important things, especially in later life.
You went from a 10-9 lead to a 30-9 lead, Bob. 20 uninterrupted points. And in that streak of 20 was, of course, a forfeit win for Tony Gentile. Was that totally unexpected?
I didn't think. Well, of course, I don't know. You'd have to ask Al that, because you know, he might have had a kid injured or something along that line, and you know, that's his decision. You know, I don't know, so I'm not going to speak on that. We felt every kid would wrestle. Yes.
Bob, you've won the South Jersey for the 3rd year in a row. Now you go to the States. Do you like this concept?
Well, we only got a few minutes here. It has some good points and some bad points, in my opinion. And I think you have to look at it overall and what's in the best interest of wrestling and what's in the best interest of the total state program. It adds flavor to the states, but there's also some negative things to it. So what I think you just have to look at the good points and the bad points, and we don't have the time to go over at all of them, but it's nice when you're in it, we'll put it that way.
Well, good luck there. Channel 5 will be right along with you on Saturday, Bob.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mike?
Paulsboro wins again, this time by a final score of 30-18 over Glassboro. For Bob Schrack and for Store Communications, we hope you've enjoyed this one. We'll be looking for you to join us at Roselle Park for the State Group 1 Finals. Until that time, see you next time.